Hello, my friends. Many people still believe that when seafood costs more, it must be better for your body. Take salmon, for example. At the grocery store, a small piece can cost $20 or $30. We are also constantly told that it is one of the best foods for the heart. Because of that, many older adults feel that if they do not buy it, they are somehow neglecting their health. But what if I told you that when you compare nutrition, price, and lower contaminant risk, salmon may not even make the top 5? Today, I am going to show you the real winner on the seafood nutrition list. It is affordable, easy to find, and in many cases more practical than salmon for everyday eating. Because it is so inexpensive, most shoppers walk right past it without giving it any respect. But once you understand why nutrition experts pay attention to smaller fish, you may never look at the seafood counter the same way again. Larger fish sit higher on the food chain. Over time, they can accumulate more mercury and other contaminants. Smaller fish are often overlooked, but they may offer powerful nutrients that support heart and blood vessel health without draining your grocery budget. You may think that eating more expensive seafood is always a safer choice, but that can be a mistake. I am not telling you to stop eating it completely, but I would not recommend making it an everyday habit, especially if there are children, older adults, or people with gout concerns at home. Number 9 is lobster, and number 8 is crab. I would describe these two as the classic gout temptation plate. They taste rich, they are high in protein, and they feel like a special treat. But for people who are sensitive to uric acid or already have joint discomfort, they deserve extra caution. If you already struggle with cholesterol, kidney concerns, or gout, these luxury seafood choices are better enjoyed occasionally. They should not be treated like a health food. Once you understand how the market works, you start to see how sellers use our psychology. A very ordinary ingredient can be dressed up as something rare, premium, and almost magical. Then the price climbs from the floor to the ceiling. Number 7 is salmon, and salmon is one of the best examples of this marketing effect. Why does it rank so far behind what many people expect? Because we have to separate the idea of wild salmon from what most people actually buy. Wild salmon can be a nutritious food, but in many supermarkets, the salmon most shoppers see is farm-raised. Food safety and environmental groups have raised concerns about some crowded fish farming systems. These concerns include water quality, feed quality, and the way fish are raised in large numbers. That does not mean every farm-raised salmon is unsafe. It also does not mean you should panic. But it does mean older adults should stop thinking that every bright orange salmon fillet in the seafood case is automatically the cleanest and best choice. Walk through Walmart, Costco, Kroger, or a local supermarket, and look closely at those neatly cut salmon portions. Sometimes the color looks almost too perfect. Yes, salmon provides protein and omega-3 fats. That part is true, but if you are paying a premium price mainly for those nutrients, while also accepting possible concerns about farming practices, sourcing, and contaminants, then the value may not be as strong as the advertising makes it sound. After talking about this overpraised middle-class favorite, it is time to give credit to the humble seafood most people ignore. Number 6 is shrimp. Many older shoppers see shrimp and immediately think cholesterol. They put it back because they are afraid it will harm their heart. But that is a very common misunderstanding. Shrimp does contain cholesterol, Yet the relationship between dietary cholesterol and blood cholesterol is more complex than people used to believe. Shrimp is also low in saturated fat and high in protein. For many healthy adults, reasonable portions can fit into a balanced diet. The key is not eating it fried, covered in butter, or dipped in heavy sauces every week. Before cooking shrimp, take a little extra time to clean it well. Remove the shell if needed. Pull off the head if it is still attached. Then take out the dark vein along the back. That vein is part of the shrimp digestive tract. Removing it improves texture and makes the shrimp more pleasant to eat. Once cleaned, shrimp cooks quickly, tastes fresh, and provides lean protein without a lot of calories. For older adults trying to maintain muscle and manage weight, it can be a very practical choice. The truth is that some of the best healthy eating choices are not sitting behind fancy glass with luxury prices. They are often in the regular seafood freezer, the canned food aisle, or the simple section people walk past without thinking. Now we come to number 5, one of nature's most concentrated seafood nutrients. Public health experts often point out that shellfish like oysters can be rich in zinc, iron, and vitamin B12. People sometimes exaggerate and call them a man's energy food or a woman's beauty food. But even without the hype, their nutrition is impressive. Oysters can provide vitamin B12, zinc, and iron. These nutrients help support red blood cells, normal immune function, and nervous system health. If you want more vitamin B12 in your diet, you do not always need an expensive supplement first. Food can be a powerful place to start. But here is the serious warning. Many people love raw or barely cooked oysters because of the texture. For older adults, especially those with liver disease, diabetes, weakened immunity, or chronic health issues, raw oysters can carry a higher food safety risk. A raw oyster that is not fresh may look dull, soft, and watery. It can also carry harmful bacteria. Taking that risk for a few seconds of freshness is not worth it for many older viewers. If you choose oysters, buy them from a trusted source and cook them properly. That is the safer choice. Next is number 3, mackerel. This oily fish is rich in omega-3 fatty acid. Research has linked omega-3 fats with support for heart health, brain health, and normal inflammatory balance as part of an overall healthy diet. In the United States, fresh mackerel may not be common in every supermarket, but frozen mackerel, canned mackerel, and similar oily fish can be easier to find. Freezing does not destroy most of the important nutrition, so you do not need to feel that fresh is always the only good option. Now I want to focus on number 2. The FDA lists certain seafood choices as better choices because they are generally lower in mercury when eaten in recommended amounts. One of the most practical examples is Atlantic mackerel, not king mackerel. This matters because not all mackerel is the same. Atlantic mackerel is smaller, lower on the food chain, and usually contains less mercury than large predatory fish. It is also rich in omega-3 fats and has a deep savory flavor. Do not only think of it as something to cover with heavy seasoning. Grill it, bake it, or pair it with lemon, garlic, or herbs, and the natural flavor comes through when buying it. Look for clear labeling and choose reliable sources. Frozen fillets, canned options, or whole fish can all be useful depending on your budget. A few dollars can sometimes buy a real nutrient-dense seafood meal. That is what practical healthy eating looks like. So what fish best represents the seafood that is cheap, amble, and surprisingly valuable? For me, number one is sardines. Many people hated seeing sardines in the lunchbox years ago. And even now, when they see a can on the shelf, they walk right past it. The old prejudice is strong. People think sardines are poor people's food. Be honest. Many shoppers open a can of sardines in tomato sauce or olive oil. See those soft little fish sitting in thick liquid, and immediately wonder whether it is full of preservatives. That is one of the biggest misunderstandings. Canning works through heat processing and sealed packaging. When the can is properly processed and unopened, bacteria cannot grow inside the same way they would in exposed fresh food. That means many canned sardines do not need the kind of preservatives people imagine. In fact, some so-called fresh seafood may travel through many steps before reaching the store. It may be caught, stored, shipped, displayed, and handled several times. A simple can of sardines can be shelf-stable, affordable, and nutritionally strong for older adults who want protein, omega-3 fats, calcium from soft, edible bones, and vitamin B12 without spending a fortune. Sardines may be one of the smartest seafood choices in the entire grocery store. FDA guidance places sardines among the lower mercury seafood choices. And one reason is simple. Sardines are small fish with a short life cycle, so they do not have as much time to build up mercury compared with large predator fish. In the seafood world, they are one of the cleaner and more practical choices. When you eat sardines, you often eat the soft bones and skin too. That means you get protein, omega-3 fats, vitamin B12, calcium, and other nutrients in one small can. But let me be fair. Sardines, like shrimp and other seafood, can still be high in purines. If you have gout, kidney disease, or your doctor has told you to limit purine-rich foods, you should be careful with portion size and ask for personal guidance. Many people spend a lot of money on expensive heart health products, but they will not give a simple can of sardines a chance. If you compare nutrition for the price, one can of sardines may beat many heavily advertised supplements sitting on the shelf. The sad part is that some people only start paying attention after their body sends a warning. They regret not taking better care of their blood vessels, bones, and everyday diet sooner. But eating sardines does not have to be complicated. You can buy sardines packed in tomato sauce or olive oil. If you are watching your blood pressure, choose water-packed or lower sodium versions when you can. You can also rinse them before eating to reduce some of the sodium. Add them to whole grain toast. Mix them into pasta. Put them over salad, or warm them with rice and vegetables. For just a few dollars, you can build a meal that supports protein intake, bone health, and heart-healthy eating. Do not look down on a food just because it is cheap. A wise shopper looks at nutrition, not only at the price tag. In the end, healthy eating has never simply belonged to people with bigger wallets. Nature can be surprisingly fair. Sometimes the cleanest and most useful foods are hidden in the simplest places. The problem is that people are busy and marketing is loud. We start believing that cheap means poor quality and expensive means valuable. Think about your next trip to the grocery store. Are you always reaching for the flashy packages, the premium labels, and the expensive seafood sitting at eye level? Next time, change the habit. Look lower on the shelf. Look at the quiet rows of canned fish. Look in the freezer section for simple frozen seafood without heavy sauces. Sometimes the forgotten corner of Walmart, Costco, Kroger, Aldi, or your local supermarket is where the real healthy aging choices are hiding. Eating expensive food does not always mean eating well. You can spend $20 or $30 on a piece of salmon and feel good because the advertising told you to. Or you can spend a few dollars on several cans of sardines and give your body real protein, omega-3 fats, calcium, and vitamin B12. Your body does not absorb marketing. It absorbs the nutrients you actually put on the plate. So next time you walk through the supermarket, do not be a blind follower of food trends. Pick up a few cans of sardines and ask yourself why more people are not doing the same. Remember, smart eating often starts with the foods most people overlook. That is all for today. If this helped you, support the channel. Share it with someone who shops for seafood. And remember to visit my other channel, Tom's Everyday Tips, for more practical advice you can use at home. I am Tom, and I will see you in the next episode.